That's literally my only issue with this movie. That is just so dumb, but okay. Hello, everyone. We're the Continuity Crew. I'm Will. That's Win. And we're back with another episode of, I guess, the Big Feature Film Podcast.
Yeah.
We got to see it early. I saw it like a month ago. Win saw it a couple days ago.
Yesterday.
So we're knocking this bad boy out. So, In the Heights, it's a film. It's awesome. It's a musical.
It's fine.
Whatever. It's the same director as Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Yeah. Chew something, I think.
John Chu, yeah.
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 I don't see how this is like Crazy Rich Asians.
Or is it? But
this has nothing to do with Crazy Rich Asians.
Well,
I love how that guy went from like
it's crazy
kind
poor.
of like
It's crazy poor Hispanics. That's what this one is.
Yeah, that guy can do like I think he's gonna be typecasted now as like this guy who knows minorities.
The director. Yeah, probably. What isn't he directing? What's he directing that's coming out soon?
I don't remember. But before we begin, I do have a side note, just a trigger warning for anyone who doesn't like immigrants, who is a Trump supporter, white with blonde hair and blue eyes, white who drives a truck, anyone who's white.
Yeah, man.
Just start listing off. Yeah, anyone who's Republican. Yeah, you're not gonna like this movie a lot at all.
Really?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I
A
was
couple of
thinking,
people left when they got to that when they got to a part where they were singing about how they were poor or whatever. I'm not kidding. In my theater, a couple of people left.
Interesting.
When they got to the song where they were singing about I think it's the third or fourth song in the movie. Like I just noticed it and I was like, I'm gonna watch for them if they come back. So that's what I did. They didn't.
Huh. Interesting. Not wrong movie, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. If you're the third or fourth song in, you probably like made an executive decision
just to leave.
Yeah. So, but it really follows our character Usnavi Anthony Ramos, I believe.
Yeah. But it's a movie about the Dominican Americans.
Well, he's
this, like,
Dominican. The other people are different. Like
I'm assuming majority of them are Dominican.
Maybe
but
in
a
that
lot
area,
of them are.
but
Yeah.
Because like at the end, there's the one song where they're like showing off all their flags and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Love that. But it's a musical. It's I think produced and it was originally a play by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
We did Hamilton.
Of course, gotta love Hamilton.
I mean,
I don't know if you've gotta love Hamilton. There's a lot of people who don't like Hamilton.
I don't get that. I like the vibe.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's
like the story you can do whatever, but the vibe was really nice.
Yes. I love the music of it, like the style. And this didn't feel like it was copying that either.
But it did have Lin-Manuel Miranda's like singing and rapping style.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. For some of them, but some of them it felt.
It felt like he wrote it though.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing.
Definitely.
Like, he shows up in the movie too.
Ice cold piraguas.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's a cart pusher.
Yeah, sells shaved ice to the children, and I felt like it was such a throwaway. Like, and then there's the big bad ice cream truck.
Yeah, he has his own subplot that we're never gonna see the end of.
There's just
I like that.
It was just kind of there, and I was like, okay, hey, that's the Hamilton guy. It's like, well, it's like in my showing, like everyone there was definitely like a Hamilton fan, and they knew like,
yeah,
because it was an early showing, and I'm sure there was probably some people for you and yours because it was still another early showing.
In my theater, man, it was so fucking annoying. Yeah, there were people in front of me that was talking the entire time. They were talking about how like it was like, oh, this guy is so good in like in Hamilton. I'm like, we get it. We know you're a fan. You don't have to talk about it, man. Like, yeah. And then there was like this one lady who just like, there would be this one line in the movie that would resemble any sort of like political like attachment to, let's say, I think a congresswoman was one of them, or something like that, in like the paintings. And then she would just like snap her fingers like really fucking loud in the middle of the fucking theater. I'm like, I get it. It's power. I understand, but you don't need to be like, you don't need to be this like power queen, like that kind of thing. Like she did that. I'm completely fine with it, but it's not the appropriate time to do it when it was really quiet.
Yeah,
it was really quiet.
I get it, but I don't know. It's you got to feel the vibe of the theater. Like if that was happening in the theater I was in, I could be like more understanding because like people like there's a lot of clapping after a couple songs and like from beginning and end of people clapped. Like the people were really excited whenever I went and saw it.
Yeah,
but I don't know the vibe that yours gave off. But like if it was just kind of in silence and they were doing that, it's kind of like, oh wow.
Yeah, it was. No, it was just really cringy, and like they were directly in front of me, so like the screen was like right there. And then this hand just shows up out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, fuck. You know, I like to watch performances.
Snap down here.
No, you know what really, we're talking about theater experience right now, but you know what really made me uncomfortable was the fact that a lot of parents brought their kids into this movie, and they're talking about having sex in bed or like having sex and like
PG-13
ass titties and all this shit. And I'm like,
oh, there's some very attractive women in this movie.
The lead lady, Veronica.
Yes, all of them were, to be honest.
I think it's her name.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
Yeah, she's fine as hell.
She was.
We haven't seen her in any other thing, but I'm guessing now that she's part of this. She might get more roles. Vanessa. That didn't sound right. I don't know why Veronica started.
Yeah, she hasn't been in really that much. It looks like a few Netflix things and a couple of Spanish movies.
Yeah. I will say this movie very long.
It is long.
It was so long. I can stand Alexander. I keep saying Alexander Hamilton. I can stand Hamilton because it was a stage performance. But for some reason with this movie, I just couldn't.
There's definitely a couple things that could have been cut out, but also like it was fine. I think everything was still kind of meant to be there, but also like there's some subplots like the ice cream truck and stuff. Like it's kind of like, oh, okay, well. That doesn't necessarily have to be there. So I say you could definitely take out 20 to 30 minutes, make it like maybe right under or just at 2 hours. But I still understand the story he was going for and all this. So
there's some added parts in it, and I get that it's from the play, and I get that it's like stage play usually lasts for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, there's like there were parts that weren't pertinent to the story.
Yeah.
And then they just ended it.
They just drop him like that, and or even the what's the guy Sonny? His whole thing with him not being an illegal, and like he get so. I guess spoiler alert. We'll get more into the spoilers for the review. So spoiler alert for In the Heights. Sonny, his like partner in crime, kind of
his cousin.
I think it's supposed to be implied with the
no, it's his cousin because he what's his name Unavi is talking to the uncle.
Oh yeah,
his uncle.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them it was like, is it because even like the first character we meet is the grandma and she's not. It's like, oh, that's not my grandma. Like actually, so
yeah, abuela.
Yeah, they still think family. So. Like Fast and
Furious.
Closer and closer. But he's like not a legal immigrant, and like gets upset that he can't go to college, which I
feel for, man.
Yeah. Oh, and then it's like he can't
get his driver's license.
Yeah, he can't do all this stuff. And then Usnavi is given the lottery winnings by Abuela because
he didn't give it to him. He found it in a little box.
Well, it was for him. She said it for Usnavi on there. So, and then gives it to him to try and like get him to be able to get his citizenship and all this stuff. And then that's just kind of dropped after later in the movie when it's all wrapped up. I'm like, okay, are we supposed to assume he got deported? Because like
I'm assuming that there was like a part in there in the very last, like in the ending. There's like a little hint that he was there, or maybe
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, I'll have to rewatch it. But also like, we just didn't see him. I'm like, that's kind of messed up. Like,
he's gone, man.
He's just gone.
He's gone.
But or like the ice cream truck, and I'm sure there's other things that, like I said, it's I think it was May 9th that I went and saw this, so it's almost a month exactly that I went and saw this. I don't remember everything, but
the Parlor Girls, I don't get why they had to move.
Yeah,
because they moved for some reason.
I guess
it was like another block over. I get the
story part of it. Like they're moving uptown. It's the Washington Heights is changing, and I think that had more plot importance than the ice cream truck, at least.
If this movie was like any other standard movie, those three girls would definitely have their own movie in like a year or two.
Yeah.
As like, what
I
is
was
it
just
called?
looking. I didn't know. I knew there was some sort of sequel in the works for Crazy Rich Asians, but there's two that I'm assuming are probably connected to it. Let me pull it up real quick. Rich People Problems and China Rich Girlfriend. I get it. China kinda.
Damn.
So we'll see what those are. I thought Crazy Rich Asians was a good movie for the most part. I've had my issues with it, but also I do not understand all the hype around it. That movie played at the theater forever. And like it was always like at least 20 plus people in the showings, no matter what time it was.
I didn't know that.
And typically it was older people. They don't have anything else to do. But
I don't remember that, man. I think I watched this in the theaters once, or I watched that movie in the theaters once, and I was like, yeah, this looks like an Asian movie. I'm not kidding. Like, it looks very much like, it's not like your Minari or your, what is that movie with Steven Yeun? The really strange one. Burning, I think that's what it's called.
I haven't seen that.
You should watch it. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's not like that, but like, it's like the blockbuster Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that.
That's what Crazy Rich Asians felt like. I was like, I get it, and I watched it at home probably a year or two later because it was just I didn't have time to see it. But like, I was just like, huh. It feels like a really big movie, but it also like didn't to me for some reason. So I think that was kind of a problem I have with it. But back to like In the Heights, like this.
Directed, I guess.
Yeah.
The dude. Yeah, this movie also felt like a very long music video.
It did in some parts.
It makes sense because the director previously like directed music videos more. So
one of them, he did like a Justin Bieber one is like one of his top IMDb things. I think.
No, that was his movie. Never Say Never.
It's the movie, which is
I don't know why I remember that, but I can't remember that other fucking movie.
Never Say Never.
I've never seen that.
It's for like one of those musician like documentary type stuff. It's not the worst.
That's like Billie Eilish's stuff, or like
it was a lot better than the Billie Eilish one. I didn't like the Billie Eilish one.
I haven't seen it yet. I might check it out.
It's fine. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against having like being close to your sibling, but because I'm close with my sister, but like her and her brother seem like a little too close, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and his brother has like a girlfriend that looks like Billie Eilish.
I didn't know that, but yeah. So it's a little odd.
I'm gonna have to look that up now, but yeah, this movie felt like a really long ass music video.
It did.
I'm kind of 50-50 in how much I like it or how much I don't like it. Like I'm like
that's where I was when I first came out of the theater.
Yeah,
like it's grown on me so much, and the fact I can't watch it again, it makes it like I think I like it even more. I'm like, when are they putting the music out? I just need it. Like and I'm sure if once I watch it again, I'll decide. But I definitely think I'm more positive than negative for sure. The negatives I would say I have are it does feel like a long music video. There's some subplots that aren't necessarily need to be there, but I'm sure they were part of the play, or just they're even the ice cream one had like a good laugh, and the kids' citizenship was like it was funny. Nice. I mean, some part of it, like even he kind of jokes about it, and it's sweet, and so like I get. And then there's in the trailers they show a lot of the almost all of the like not in reality stuff, like them dancing on the side of the building, the like 96,000, like them tracing out things, or like, and almost
everyone have lottery tickets.
Yeah, well, like, and it is a musical, but and so like there's dancing and all this stuff, which is I'm absolutely okay with that, but I'm talking like the like out of reality stuff. Like they're drawing pictures, they're dancing on side of buildings. I'm trying the ribbons in the air when the girl Vanessa sings. Yeah. And those are all like literally, I think, in one of the first trailers. And I'm like, so this is going to be kind of a La La Land-esque like feel, like the out of reality stuff. I'm like, awesome. Like I love that feel. But all of it was in the trailer and there was like nothing really else in there. Yeah. And so I'm like, I wish they leaned more into that. And I can't necessarily say that's a con, but I'm with it.
I don't think I don't think In the Heights works as a movie. I'm sure it works as a play, but I'm not sure if In the Heights is a good movie to have, because honestly, or like in terms of like storyline, because like the songs just come out of nowhere, man.
Some of them do, yeah.
Like in La La Land, like you see a build up. There's like a slow jazz music playing, like just about to play, and they're about to sing or dance, and then like there's like in the Heights where it's like sometimes I think a couple or even 3 or 4 of the songs they were like, then they should start singing.
To defend that, I'm like, well, that's more of a stage feel than anyways.
No, I get that, yeah.
And I think that's what they were going for. So I get what you're saying, but yes and no. So,
but I think what I'm trying to say is like the non-singing parts don't really do much.
Yeah.
And you know, like you have maybe about 5 minutes of breather to like be
to
able
the next
from
song
to song. Yeah. So I honestly I would maybe cut down like 2 or 3 of the songs, maybe build them up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like Vanessa's song was really out of nowhere for me, because then they just started singing like, oh, she's a really strong lady, she's this and that, and then like she just starts singing.
Yeah, she starts singing about like her she wants to get out and all this stuff. But yeah, I'd say that's kind of the review of the movie. We'll talk about the twist. How'd you feel about the twist? I thought that was so good.
Wait, which twist?
That the fact he's not like in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, for some reason I saw that coming.
So like I started, they even like leave little hints in it. Like you can see in the background like some of the stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he brought it with him to the Dominican Republic. And I was like, wait, he's telling this, and like, oh, he's actually, and so I thought it was cool, and I really liked it. I thought it was sweet. I did like, I'm not gonna, this is weird, but I liked the grandma dying. I felt like it was, I know, let me explain. I liked her. It gave her like a backstory with that song. I thought like that visually really that was really cool.
Yeah.
It felt kind of out of nowhere. I mean, she is old.
That's one of those songs, yeah.
But not even the song, just her dying.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, is she really gonna die right here? What? Like, whenever she was laying in bed, like, as soon as like she's like her vision kind of gets blurry, I'm like, what the fuck? Don't kill her. Like,
grandma,
abuela, yeah. And so I don't know. I
the reason why I saw that little twist coming is that like one, they didn't do an establishing shot of like the whole beach. They just kind of sat down in that shack looking thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably not real, is it? Like, because like he was talking about like, you know, they're not. He's talking about Washington Heights, but then he's telling a story. So I'm assuming that these kids are familiar with Washington Heights. He's just telling the story of what happened to the people in it.
That's
So
you're more movie intelligent than I am. So
I don't know. I think I just like, I think maybe about 50%, 60% of the time I really, really paid attention instead of actually just like watching the movie. Because like the thing is, it was very difficult for the first 7 or 8 minutes of that intro. Because like it was like, everywhere. Song. Yeah, it was like everywhere, and then it would stop. Abuela would be talking.
Yeah, it is kind of like stops and goes. So that's understanding. I think since we've only both got to see it once, and like it's coming out on HBO Max, I think a rewatch for both of us for a definite feel of it will be very telling. But for right now, this is what we got. So.
Yeah, I'll rewatch it. I think my theater experience was just really uncomfortable.
That's fair.
Because like I don't know, there were kids running around too. I forgot to mention that. Kids were running around because the parents would be here on this side, and then the kids would be on the edge of.
Did you? I don't know. Did it play a thing like this is an early showing? Like any Warner Bros. And like, so do not.
There was a poster, not a poster, but there was like a first like not screenshot, but a freeze frame of something, or like a poster.
Yes,
I guess
of In the Heights. Did it say anything about this is like an early showing? There any like sort of blah blah blah? You are being like I think watched or some not watched, but. I think there was someone in the theater in my viewing.
There was a couple people in my theater.
Well, no, my theater was like full, like with the social distancing. But like, I'm pretty sure there was someone in my theater that was like from Warner Bros. To make sure no one was recording or anything. Which I'm like, I've never seen that before. I mean, to be fair, mine was like a month early, so I kind of get it. So
if there was someone there like that, there were a couple of like the theater attendants just standing there for some reason.
Probably just watching it.
Yeah, no, they were just standing like this far left side. They were just like sitting here looking at the people, and I'm like, this is weird.
That might have been the same thing. There might have, because the guy that I saw, he was like decked out in a suit. Yeah. He looked like he was supposed to be there. He was just standing, and he looked like you knew what he was doing. So I'm like, okay. I got it. I was like, that's interesting. So they might have sent like, did they stay in there like the whole time or just?
I don't know. I would like see them switch up.
I bet they like had someone sitting in there. That makes sense. But even still, it's not like that, or it's like less than a week, or yeah, it was less than a week away when you saw it. So I don't know.
I would have been because I checked my phone so many times. I was just like, because like the thing is, I have my phone right here. And like my watch would like buzz, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then I have to answer them.
Wow.
And then like, I'm just chilling there, checking my phone every now and then because I was like, wow, this movie is really long.
Yeah, it is long.
This song is really long too. I'm like,
yeah, the first song's like 6, 7, 8 minutes.
It's 7.5.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I will say like before we wrapping up the review, like I think if you like musicals, you're gonna love this. It's a good story. It's cute.
A lot of people cried in my theater.
Abuela
died.
I got teary-eyed. Yeah, I was like, damn.
It was cute. It was like
I got teary-eyed, but I got more emotional when they were all like I don't remember the name of the song, but when they're all singing about like where they're from, their heritage and stuff. I was like, I mean, I'm only 25% Mexican, but I'm like, damn, yes, like heritage, like yes, like that's awesome.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And like they're all holding their flag.
Almost the very end.
Yeah.
Also, what annoyed me so much is that one girl from Orange Is the New Black. Mm-hmm. All she does in this movie is shake her tits and pump out her ass.
A little bit.
I'm not even joking. Like, I don't think she had a line. I don't think she had like a single word.
She didn't have much character, for
sure.
She
didn't. And like every time she would show up in the screen, she would just shake her tits.
While the other one was like kind of the ditzy, like annoying, like that wasn't the main hairstylist.
Yeah.
She was kind of just the tits and ass, I guess. I mean, there's no better way to say it, I guess. I
wasn't like frustrated at the fact that like that's her personality. I was more frustrated with the fact that like for this movie to be like kind of, I don't know, I like the songs that they had, mm-hmm. and then I like the way they sang it, but for her to be there and just shaking her ass is so weirdly out of place.
A little bit, yeah.
Even at the very end, she can't dance for shit. I hate to say it, but when they would like pan it to her, or when I would see her in the background, like that was the first. She would be one of the first people that I would see because mm-hmm. she was wearing red, mm-hmm. and so I was like, "Wow, she can't dance, man."
No,
I'm sorry, she can't. Like everyone else, like the kids are doing great. Yeah. They're like doing fantastic. The person on her left is doing amazing. And she's just there. She's just.
I didn't notice that, so I'm definitely gonna check that out.
I wasn't I wasn't being nitpicky either.
No, I could understand that. I just didn't notice that. It's like they're making her the focal point of like a dancing shot or whatever, and like if she can't really dance, don't make her the.
Yeah, like it would cut to her, and I'd be so confused as to like, why would you?
Oh well. So, but let's give it a final rating out of 10. In the Heights. What do you say?
Like the song, mm-hmm. sort of like the story. Needs a little bit of tweaking. Maybe there's like a few minutes there that's missing. I'm gonna say this movie got about 6, Because everything else that followed that I didn't like were kind of just like, well, you didn't really need that either. Yeah, so, or like that girl from Orange is the New Black, or some of the songs not being, it's not keeping up with the movie.
Yeah.
So I'd say a 6.
6, that's fair.
Enjoyable though.
I think it's super enjoyable. I think you can get very emotionally invested, and my rating's a little bit higher because of that. Because that's what I do.
I'm heartless.
No, I definitely see where your ratings come from. I think it was a really good musical. I'm a big fan of musicals. I think this is definitely one of the better ones to come out in a while. I think the story is very wholesome, and it's a good family movie, even though there are some parts, like you were saying, that's not necessarily family oriented. But I'll say 8.5 for like a critical rating. I think this was really good, really well done. Yeah. And then enjoyment rating, I'm gonna say like a 10. Yeah. Because it's my theater experience was really good, and like that alone will always like make me have a 10 for it. So but overall it's just a damn good movie. At least I think so.
I think it was fun.
It's a damn good musical. I don't know about a movie. I need to rewatch it, and it's been a while.
I love how we didn't even talk about Nina. Because I thought she was the focal point.
Her character felt so thrown away, though. Yeah, she does feel like the focal point, but also like
they keep showing her in the trailers. It looked like she was the love interest.
Speaking of like just of her, I really like the scenes where she's like, "Let me listen to my block," and like I thought that was like movie wise, that was done really well.
Also, it's so tonally off as well.
Some of them, yeah.
I didn't even I completely overlooked that, but it was tonally like it would look like this gritty movie, and then it would just go brighten up itself and just like look at these like things that are falling from the top of the building, and like it looks so colorful. And
that's what I'm saying. Like all the like I'm not gonna say interesting, but like different like types of, I guess, cinematography, I don't know what else to call it, is like just not really used that much, or it's just thrown in there. So it was kind of weird.
That was your standard. It was your standard cinematography. It was just like
shot,
reverse shot.
The look of it, like the things falling from the buildings, them dancing on the side of the building, the drawing in the air, like it just like they felt very thrown in, and so Nina's character felt thrown in.
Well, the way they do these movies is they have a tone, like they have an understanding of what tone they have. Like Midsummer, they know the aesthetic. It's basically like this one too. They know the aesthetic, but the thing about the aesthetic is it doesn't go into the like at night. It doesn't do very well. It doesn't do very well at night. Like it will look like let's see, what's a good movie to describe it? It looks like a fucking Dark Knight series, not a series, Dark Knight scene. Mm-hmm. So like it'll have this like green tint in the background, and then they have a tan, like orange and teal look, but it looks so gritty, and I'm like, wow.
And then it's like happy,
yeah. So and then the next day it'll show up, and I'm like, look at us, we're like singing and dancing, and I'm like, well,
I guess it's making a lot. I don't know. I see where that can work, and also it can. Just need to rewatch it, but it comes out. It's June 11th, so definitely
marketing lied in this movie.
I will definitely say, if you're like, this would be like, I haven't seen Peter Rabbit yet, but I'm gonna say this is probably the better, like, it's again not necessarily family oriented, but it'd be, if you're okay with your kids hearing like a sex joke or something here and there, this is definitely, I would safely say this is probably the better.
These kids were like 4 or 5.
It's fine.
When they were running around the theater, I'm like, damn, why are you running around?
Well,
sit down, please. Also, a bunch of parents were like, I guess not a bunch of parents, but like a few parents had their tickets like right at the edge of the other side of the, like right on the screen.
Yeah.
And then like they would complain about it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of your fault. Really,
like you can pick. Like, it's But anyways, that's our In the Heights review for a big feature film podcast.
Deserves a watch, I will say.
Yeah, I highly recommend, especially if you're a fan of musicals. If you liked Hamilton at all, you'll probably like this. So
if you're a Republican, don't like immigrants, you're white who likes Trump, you're white who drives truck, you're white who has blonde hair and blue eyes. If you're white, that's a Karen. If you're white, that's a, what else? Soccer mom. You're definitely not gonna like this movie because
But if you like Hamilton, you might.
It will offend you in ways that like the left would get offended.
It's like the type of people that probably watched Hamilton and is like, why is Aaron Burr black? Why is Hamilton like not
that's
white?
True.
Like that's the type of people this will offend. So
also the type of people that this will offend are the people who's like, why do they get so offended? Like have a thicker skin, and then they like start hearing shit about like Dominican Republic power or Mexican power, immigrant power, and they're like, oh, what is wrong with you? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but anyway,
go back to your country.
Oh God.
Speak English. They touched up on that in the movie too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did.
The grandma.
It's like God.
Good for grandma.
Yeah.
She learned English. Go fuck yourselves, Karen.
Yeah, hey, why don't you learn Spanish? It's not that hard. Trust me.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I know those white people that say shit like speak English. Mm-hmm. They go to a different country and they're expecting someone like to speak English, like every one of them, and then they can't like understand it. Yeah. I want to see that, because the thing is, like, if you go to like other countries and you're white, like bright ass white, you're definitely gonna feel the what do you call that? The minority experience. I should make a movie about the minority experience.
The Minority Report, but it's not Tom Cruise. It's the color of your skin.
Yeah, but like it's a white person in a different country.
But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching another episode of the Big Feature Film Podcast. If you enjoyed, please, it'd be awesome. Comment what's your favorite musical down below, or if you've seen this, Hamilton or this, which do you prefer? Definitely, I'd say Hamilton.
Or this movie, or La La Land.
Definitely La La Land. I just like La La Land more, but I still think they're both great.
You don't like immigrants? Wow.
Haha, you're so funny. You're so funny, man. Then
just start throwing the shit in there.
Oh, really? Wow. Really?
You're
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
That
You
makes
hate
sense.
black people? That's cool.
That makes sense. You like La La Land because they're white? Yeah, okay.
Whatever. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank y'all for watching. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will. That's Win, who hates minorities. Yeah, if you keep letting me say your name, I'll start throwing tackle. Thank y'all for watching. We love movies. We love y'all. We'll see y'all in the next one.
It's funny because I have blonde hair.
Let's put that in the, that's the title. We hate my... Can't do that. We'd get some clicks.
That's the title. We hate...
Don't see this movie if you hate minorities.
I should really definitely put that.
Well...
If you hate minorities, you don't want to watch this movie.
Minority haters won't want you to see this movie.
That sounds like a Looper title.
Jesus. Yeah, it does. Oh, Jesus.
Can I put that as a title? Are we allowed to?
I don't know.
If you hate minorities.
You'll hate this movie.